Welcome to a special Derby edition of Creekside Chat alongside Adam Bowden, Mike Akers, Shaun Laungani. I'm Jon Siegel. We thank you guys for tuning in. I know it might seem strange. We're here at a standardbred farm, but we're talking Derby. Adam, listen, you're not just a standardbred guy. Talk to me. You have some thoroughbred experience as well.
Yeah, we've had a couple of mares in Europe and in the States, and most of our stuff's over there, but love the Derby and can't wait to go.
All right, well, let's talk about it. Mike, you're the only one who's been at Churchill Downs this week. Obviously, it's really important this time of year. Who's coming out of their final breezes looking the best? Who's dappled out? What's your impressions over there?
I really like Rodriguez. I think he's a speed horse that can maybe rake just off of it, and there's a ton of speed in there, but he's training beautifully. Breeze couldn't have been better. And of course, journalism is awesome.
Yeah.
He's a very confident horse when he steps on the track every day, comes bouncing off of there. He's going to catch everybody's eye.
Shaun, Baffert, he's back.
Back,
it's been
baby.
a long time. He's coming. He's got two good chances. Obviously, the one hole's a little bit troublesome, but
Those were the worst post draws Baffert got, you know, with speed horses like that. He's back, and you think, okay, he'll win. I mean, he's been on the bench. He's going to come back and win. I don't think he's got what it takes to win. I don't think he has the horses to win it this year. I think he's got the horses to set the pace, a potentially fast pace if they can get out of there. But I just don't think he's got the power he needs to get the win on the bounce back. But you know he'll be right back in it in 2026 or 7, you know.
So Adam, he mentioned the draw. Obviously, that is so important for the Derby. Who do you think got the worst of the draw this year?
Oh, I mean, like number 17 supposedly has never won the Derby, so Sandman being one of the top couple choices, I wouldn't want that. But the 2-year-old champion that Shaun mentioned for Baffert drawing the rail with the speed horse is terrible. I mean, you mentioned earlier, looking at Lucky, right? He just got nailed and took him right out of the race. I think that's a bad spot for Citizen Bull.
Mike, who do you think got the best of the draw? You know, it's easy to talk about the worst. Who do you think really got the spot they needed?
I think the horses in the middle, 7, 8, 9. Burnham Square, there's another one that's going to be a live long shot. That jockey knows his way around Churchill. I mean, that's set in the honey pot right there in the,
Could go back
in the
to back.
middle. Journalism's got a great draw, Luxury Cafe.
Great draw.
Those guys just in the middle. The speed guys on the outside have to go.
Yeah.
So in the 20 and out of the 1. And they're going to carry the pace. And there's going to be a hot pace. The track will be fast. It's fast this morning.
Well, that'll set up for some closers or some who definitely want it. So we talked about, you know, horses that, you know, got the best of the draw. Who's your toss out?
Because of the draw or just in general?
Just overall. Like, tell me,
that's a
when
great
you look
question.
at the field, who's the toss
This is
out?
a year, and I'm typically the one losing money on the Japanese horses, but this is the year. I think these two are slightly lesser than what's come over in Dermasotogate, which is my favorite horse name to say. It's so fun to say. And then, obviously, Forever Young. So I think they're just a little less than those two horses, and those two didn't get it done, but it's a matter of time. I mean, their breeding will win the Derby in the next 5 to 10 years.
You know, when you look at these prep races, you kind of are trying to, you know, get the most out of your horse, but not leave them empty. When you look at the favorite in journalism, you look at his Santa Anita Derby and what he had to do coming out of that trouble on the rail. Do you think he did a little bit too much, or do you think it really set him up for this race?
I mean, I guess you could make a case that it's both, right? Like, Jock rode him hard in the turn, and you're kind of like, come on, make a move, and then he finally does. And then, like you mentioned earlier, we're just maybe a little too much. The number was huge. Like, he ran a big number. Does he bounce off that? I don't know. And he's going to be my pick.
You weren't supposed to say that yet, but that's okay. You're going to give a ticket, so that'll be
Oh,
good.
he picked the favorite. Everybody be so surprised. Oh.
Shaun, one thing that's interesting in here is that you see the into mischiefs like Mike was talking about, but then there's an authentic in here as well. Do you think that authentic can beat his Sire this year?
You know, if Rodriguez wins the race, he will have won it on a normal timeline as opposed to a COVID timeline where Authentic won the race in whatever month in the fall that was. So that's interesting. Like, this horse maybe is coming into his own prior to when his Sire did. But you do notice the Authentics seem to be excelling more as the races go longer. So, I mean, the horse should fit the distance. And to me, that's the number one factor of the Derby. No 3-year-old has run this distance. Who's going to like the distance?
You know, one thing, Mike, you'll find this, I think, an interesting stat, because this is the first time that we've had, I think, 2 runners that I know of that are by Triple Crown winners in American Pharoah and Justify. So it's kind of cool that the 2 most recent Triple Crown winners now have progeny in here. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a testament to horses being able to breed on their talent that they've shown. I mean, the Triple Crown's really hard to do. I think it's fantastic. Both stallions are very popular in the breeding shed. I think American Phago is great value in the breeding shed. They're both at the same place, so don't want it to be too much of an infomercial, but they'll give a good account of themselves. One of them's trained by Lucas, I believe, who does know how to get one ready for it.
He's won a few times.
The horses look good as well.
Speaking of that, yeah, the Virginia Derby. How do you rank the Virginia Derby?
It's hard. That's a hard thing to do.
I don't know
Yeah.
what to do with it. I had no idea what to do with it.
I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, but they say that horse is doing exceptionally well.
But he won it impressively. So I guess if you're going to go and you do it, you kind of got to do it impressively. If you barely win that, then you're kind of like, what do you do with that? All right,
it's not a good policy to leave the coach out of the mix.
That's true. Right? That's true. He'll surprise you.
Yeah.
Let's start with you, Sean. Give us some picks.
I am ready.
This is what everyone's looking for.
I am ready, folks. I am a Sandman guy. I have been following this horse pretty close. I got to see him at his OBS sale, and he was so pretty to look at, and he sold for $1 million plus off the gallop, which was super cool. So I've been watching him, and I really didn't think he was going to break through, but the Arkansas Derby did set up perfectly for him, and he did kind of graduate. He was a little green and hesitated, but he seems to be a horse that's figuring it out. I like Sandman. Cassie seems very focused right now. He normally wouldn't be my pick to win a Derby. And then Jose Ortiz is a plus for me. Because I think journalism is the best horse in the race, and I rate Sandman very close to him, but I'm just not a huge believer in Rispoli in a big field. I think that could be a slight edge to Sandman. So I'm going to bet Sandman to win, and then I'm going to give you my exacta wheel. Let's do a $5 exacta wheel for $30, and let's put Sandman and journalism on top, so 8 and 17. Over those two horses, 8, 17, and then let's throw in Sovereignty, the 18, and then the 21 horse, if he draws in the race. I don't know how to say the name. Baiza. I think that horse is a cinch at 50 to 1 to be included, so he's my long shot. So I will say I'm pretty bad at the Derby. I never hit the long shots. I might have had Animal Kingdom, but when favorite, second choices, third choices win, I generally do okay, like 1 out of 3. So
It's going favorites.
disclaimer. Yeah.
It's a little chalky.
Logical.
That's okay. All right, Mike, you're up.
I'm up.
Yep.
I'm going to take Sheikh Mohammed and Billy Mott with Sovereignty. I think his best race is in front of him. Wins the Fountain of Youth easy and very impressive from off the pace. Goes back in Florida Derby, runs a good second. Back with his regular jock. Sheikh Mo deserves one. I'm going with the Swami angle. I'll go with those guys.
A lot of people were high on the horse that won the Florida Derby, so unfortunately he is now not in there, which does open the door for Sovereignty in a big way for sure. All right, Adam, you're up.
I teased it earlier. I'm going journalism. I'm going to play a super because I've been chasing it for the last 10 years. I'm going to put journalism on top of 5 other horses, and then I'll likely put Burnham Square, Final Gambit, Sovereignty, Grande, and Tistastic. A couple of numbers in there underneath.
You guys are throwing some value out there for everybody. Thank you guys for all your input. I'm sure the fans were very helpful. Like you always say, this is the first podcast shot in a stallion barn. I think this is definitely the first Derby show that's been shot here in a standard bred stallion barn.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys again, and thank you guys for watching.